Thank you so much for coming back tonight. It is so good to see all your happy, smiling faces. Now we got some sunshine out there today, huh? How about that? And we got air conditioning in here, praise the Lord. So we're glad you're here. Luke chapter 9. Last week, we had a message about this place. I know we normally say, remember everybody, the church isn't a building. The church isn't a building. It's true, we are the church. But yet, this is a special place. We come here. There's no place like this. And this is what we want to talk about. And I'm thankful because Sunday night, out of all the services we all come here for, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Sunday school, Wednesday night prayer meeting, other stuff, this is my one and only service with the kids. And so I'm so thankful that the kids here, and I'm thankful that the adults, you bring the kids, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Kids will never learn how to sit in church until they learn to sit in church. And I think this is an awesome thing. They aren't just our future, they're our now. You know, they are the church with us. And as we talk about church and our services, they should associate this place with joy, with belonging, with the presence of God. I'm so encouraged how last week's message was received. And I just thank you for all the encouragement there. We're going to build upon that because there's two ditches that we have to watch out for as we consider our gathering place, our services, this building, right? One ditch is this, it's reverence without warmth, okay? Meaning that this place turns into a museum. Don't touch, just look, keep your voices down. Don't, be really careful. I used to say grandma's house. I say it's like grandma's house. But I've watched my kids at grandma's house, and I realize, okay, this is a terrible analogy, okay? Maybe when I grew up, but grandmas nowadays, they let you get away with murder, okay? So, I'm talking about reverence without warmth. It's very stuffy, and you're just... The other one would be warmth without reverence, where this place then becomes our second living room. You kick off your shoes, put your feet up. I don't know about you all. I mean, you can judge me for this all you want, but you do whatever you want in your house. Sometimes the living room is a place for naps. Sometimes it's a place for WWE wrestling, okay? And I don't mean on TV. I don't have any of those channels. I'm talking about between me, Lincoln, Levi, and the toughest one, Lydia, I mean, you're on the floor. Somebody takes an elbow off the top rope, which is the back of the couch. And sometimes that happens, okay? Am I the only one? Are we the only family that does this? I doubt it, okay? And so there's a difference, the reverence without warmth and warmth without reverence, and neither is our goal, okay? But the issue is, and this is where a lot of discord can come from, because kind of whatever side you tend to fall on, you'll accuse the other side of being the far extreme, right? Oh man, you just want this place to be reverent, it needs to be very stuffy, and the other times, like, this place is a circus, it's a three-ring circus, And we don't want any of those. What we want is for everybody to feel welcome without teaching them that everything revolves around them, around our comfort. It really brings us to our scripture tonight. Look at Luke chapter 9 in verse 23 and 24. Just a couple verses tonight. We're going to make some application here. I'll give you the context in a little bit. I don't want to cherry pick scripture without giving the context. And we'll tell you where I believe the Spirit of God is leading us tonight. In verse 23, this is Jesus. He said unto them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. Take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. I just wonder, looking around in the world today, I wonder if we've worked incredibly hard to make Christianity comfortable. So just, this message is probably going to be a little uncomfortable for all of us. We've worked really hard to make Christianity comfortable. We have a comfortable building. We have really comfortable schedules. In fact, how many of y'all were here? There was a business meeting before I was even on staff, so this has got to go back about 25 years. I remember the meeting we had where we voted to move the Sunday night service from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Does anyone else remember that service? I remember that. We did it for one family with kids. They said, it's too inconvenient for us, and so we moved it, and then they never came on Sunday nights, okay? But we moved. We want to be convenient schedules, and we want convenient programs, and we want comfortable expectations. And none of these are necessarily wrong. I'm not saying, Brother Josh, let's try to make everything as uncomfortable as possible. But somewhere along the way, comfort went from something we try to provide to something that we now expect. And Jesus' description of discipleship sounds so different, doesn't it? If any man will come after me, let him deny himself. That is the exact opposite of saying, you know what, I really want to be comfortable. I want everything to revolve around me. Everything should make me happy. Now, getting into this passage of Scripture, understand that according to Dr. Luke here, what has just happened is Jesus has fed the 5,000. Remember his disciples, that was pretty hands-on for them. They were a part of that, passing it out. What it looked like, I have no idea. I don't know what it looked like to see food somehow duplicate in a basket in front of you. I have no idea, but no matter what they saw, they must have come to the conclusion, Jesus is no ordinary man. And so then right after that, we see that Jesus asks that question, right? Who do men say I am? We talked a little bit about that this morning. Some say that you're this, you're that. And he says, well, who do you think? Peter said in this exact quote right here, he says, the Christ of God. He got it. He nailed it. And so then, just understand now where the disciples' minds are, because our verse in verse 23 started with and. And so we're going back to what's happening. So this huge miracle, feeding 5,000 people. Who do you say I am? Now there's this revelation. We believe. Now, I don't know about you, but here we get the Roman powers, and we have a lot of things that we don't like in the world going on then. We can only imagine at that point, we'd say, wait a minute, this guy is who we think he is. We're ready for a revolution. We're going to crown him king. He's going to lead an army or whatever. And so Jesus then tempers their expectations. He says in verse 22, the Son of Man must suffer many things. Boy, that's not what I want to hear from him. I want to go and take out every problem I have because we are uncomfortable in the land of Judah and those dumb Romans. And the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be slain and be raised for the third day. Man, that's not what I want to hear. This is terrible. And so our text starts with and I believe what Jesus is telling them, say, okay, look, you want to follow me, there's a cost. I want you to understand this. If you want to be a disciple, don't expect a different path than mine. This isn't like some of the institutions made by man where it's like, look, I'm going to need you to suffer. I'm going to need you to work hard. I'm going to need you to sacrifice. But the fat cats at the top, they're doing fine. Jesus is saying, I want you to know what's going to happen to me. I'm laying down my life. I'm going to serve, I'm going to suffer, and I'm going to die. So if you're going to follow me, understand, you don't expect to be comfortable if you're going to follow me. And so we've taken this passage of Scripture, but there's three things that would help us tonight in our study, and I hope it all makes sense when it all comes together. But the first one, if your children are writing your points down, writing your notes right there, number one, discipleship requires denial. Did you see that in verse 23? He said unto them all, if any man will come after me, let him what? Deny himself. You want to go into discipleship? You know the first person Jesus tells us to confront is not the devil, it's ourselves. Because I want what I want. I told you, I'm susceptible. I will watch a commercial and I will see a fast food sandwich and I'll say, I need to try that. That looks delicious. I would love to eat that. They make those just for me sometimes. And there's just so often this day and age. Man, can I tell you the problem with Amazon is it's too easy. One click, man. They have that what's it called, buy now or one click option or whatever it is. And there it is. It's here. It's in the doorstep in a few hours or at least a couple of days. And it's nice. And in fact, grocery stores, man, they right at the checkout counter, why do they put all the candy and the sweets and everything? Why? Because they know we'll stand there and we don't have good impulse control, people. We want what we want and we'll justify it and we'll say, well, I've been really good with money lately, or I've been really good on I deserve a special Butterfinger, and we just what we want. I think one of the hardest things that we have, we're going to follow Christ because I can't follow Christ and follow my own heart at the same time. Remember we talked about the love of the Father is different than the love of the world, right? John says, don't love the world. The love of the Father is not in you. It means you don't love the Father. If you love the world, you got to choose. Because the world's going this way, God's going this way. In the same way, my heart's going this way, my heart's going this way. And it'd be good for us sometimes to understand, we just got to tell ourselves no sometimes. And this isn't denying that you exist or deliberately, you know what, I'm going to make every decision today to purposely make myself miserable. That's not what we're talking about. Denying yourself is denying the right to always get your way. You can't always get your way. And Jesus gets to be Lord even when following him is uncomfortable. And so the problem here, and this, listen to me very carefully. This is one of those messages I can get myself in a lot of trouble with, so please listen carefully what I'm about to say. Our culture trains children the exact opposite direction. And I've noticed this raising young children in this world now. Now, I think it was different growing up. I mean, the world didn't revolve around children, the family. It's amazing how, where everybody, the schedules of the household revolves around the children. Oh, we have this practice on this day, then we got a game this day, and then we got to have kids over to this thing for this. It's too much. But the whole family is, let's rally around the children. And just think about that for a moment when the children are growing up and the whole household is there to support them in their dreams or whatever they're doing. And we ask questions. Oh, honey, what do you want? I won't tell you who, but I saw a little girl crying today, walking through the lobby. It was a little girl. I can't help it. Sweetheart, what's wrong? She hugged her pastor. I said, it's okay, baby. I said, whatever happened, they're wrong and you're right, sweetheart. And if anything ever like this ever happens again, you come tell pastor and he'll take care of it for you. Do you want some candy, sweetheart? And it's just our instinct, isn't it? Son, are you having fun? Is this fun for you? Are you having a good time? Did you enjoy? I know we picked up our kids. It's a weird thing being the youth pastor for 12 years, and now I have children who are actually at their first youth group activity. We picked the kids up. First question, did you have fun? It wasn't like, did you learn anything? Did you help somebody? Were you Christ-like in any way? Did you have fun? Because if not, I'll call Pastor Josh. Next time, make sure Lincoln and Levi have fun, you know. By the way, teens, if you parents, you have your teens, they said they had a blast. They said it was so much fun. They played volleyball with a salmon. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? Now, these questions aren't always wrong, but they cannot be life's highest meaning. I get it. Listen, VBS is 1 week. 1 week we revolve everything around kids. Fun, fun, fun. We want to make sure they're having an exciting time. And by the way, they're still learning things and memorizing Scripture and getting the gospel, but there's a big prize. And the problem is, that can't be the norm. And I think of a generation of Christians have grown up, and that has become the norm. And we have VBS for adults all around the world now, and they call it church, right? Where Lord Josh brought in a smoke machine just for the VBS, right? And he was like, Pastor Todd, look we have a fog machine. You've noticed I have not fired it up during any services, right? No light shows. Like I did have a light show this morning, but that's as far as we're going to get. See, and in case you're not following me, it's okay? Just listen really carefully what I'm saying. The problem is when we make comfort our top priority, then we believe that discomfort means something is wrong. And the Lord tells us if we are going to follow Him, we are going to suffer persecution. We're going to have tribulation by following the Lord. But if we raise our children to just put them in a bubble where they're always their comfort and their likes and their, this is one of my pet peeves, and it even happens in my home. I think kids should eat whatever the adults are eating, okay? When they're a certain age, you don't make special meals for kids, okay? Because they grow up and they're picky, and you go to there's nothing worse than having an 18-year-old at a restaurant going, can I get chicky tenders? Can I get chicky tendies? Can I get some nugs? It's like, eat chicken parm or something. Like, eat a man, Get a steak, Don't you guys, I can't afford it, but, where am I at with this, Oh, so what happens is then we grow up and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. I'm experiencing this new feeling. What is this? The world has not catered to my comfort, and something must be wrong. And one of the things I've discipled young men in, I've discipled a lot of young men in running marathons. Marathon is 26.2 miles. I've even taken some young men beyond that, okay, to a 50-mile race or something. And it's funny because you get running, and all of a sudden you're like, Pastor, something's wrong. You're running. What's wrong? My legs are sore. My lungs are burning. I think there's a blister on my big toe. Listen, that doesn't mean something wrong. That just means you're running, right? I'm going to go lift weights with Brother Josh, I'm popping a blood vessel. Something's wrong. No, because you'll never grow muscles without struggling. He'll make fun of me if I get the 2-pound weights and just curl those a few times, right? Can't do that. And so this is where we're getting to. Now again, understand, I'm not saying let's all turn the pews into a bed of nails and let's all suffer and drink acid or something. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we don't make it the highest priority of this place when we come. And we got a lot of kids here, right? You know what kids don't like doing? I'm a parent. I know this stuff, right? Kids, know what you don't want to do right now? Sit still. How many of y'all got ants in your pants? And if you could, you'd get up and run a lap around the auditorium right now if you could. Yeah, a lot of you adults too, right? You know what also you don't want to do? You don't want to listen. You don't want to listen. Right now, you want to go climb something. I remember when I was a younger teenager, I'd sit in these front pews, and I would visualize myself parkouring up into the baptistry. I would picture it in my head. I go, whew, whew. Now in my 40s, I think about taking a nap after this, but we get that, right? But we don't do it, right? And sometimes church isn't designed around what you want to do. And you say, the adults are like, yeah, get them, preacher, get those kids. Adults, our wants are just more mature. You know, there's one thing as Baptists we can all agree on. The temperature is wrong in this building. There's one thing we can agree on. We can look back at Brother Dean in the sound booth and go, I'm not comfortable. It's too hot in here. And the ladies would go, it is freezing in here. It is a meat locker in here. All right. I'm either going to split the church or I'm going to fix every problem we've ever had. Let me get a drink of water first. All right, let me get down lower. Okay. Look, here's what we're going to do, just so everybody knows. In the summer, the thermostat stays at 72, okay? You may say, that is too cold, and you may say, that is too hot, and then we'd split the room right there. That's what it is. And next Wednesday, that is what it will be. And then Sunday morning, that is what it will be. Unless, now if it's 90 outside, it might be a little different. Maybe we have an AC go down. Maybe I've Baptist. Maybe it's a little different. But that is what we're aiming for, so be prepared. Okay? But sometimes we get so upset. In fact, we see Chris is so upset about the temperature. I was telling Brother Dean, I said, what is it going to be like when we're at the wedding banquet with all the saints of all time, and the first century Christians are like, man, we suffered for Jesus. Man, we were beheaded. We were burnt at the stake. We were filleted alive. And we're like, well, I got chili in church, you know. And I'm not trying to make fun. I know that's just my personality. I look like I'm making fun of it. I probably shouldn't be. I'm just uncomfortable, okay? But in the same way, sometimes this should accommodate me. And we try to accommodate the most. But sometimes it's just not going to work. In fact, I get up here, I get very sweaty. I bring water up here, and I have my little sweat rag. My son goes, is that the same sweat rag you've been using for years? He goes, somebody should probably wash that. I said, yeah, probably, right? I mean, listen, there may come a time, hold your breath, there may come a time, I don't know, I'm not planning on it, I hope it never happens. I hope I don't have to do this, I'll say this, okay? There may come a time that we may, just to accommodate the growth in here, we may have to pull out, and by the way, I think these are the most comfortable pews in history of independent fundamental Baptist churches. Dare I say, these are the best pews. I may have to pull them out and put chairs in here, okay? I don't want to, okay? Now, there's no biblical precedence or anything like that. And I know you may say, but wait a minute, I love pews. Good for you. It is what it is, and sometimes we just don't get our way because it's not about us and what we want and our comfort. Sometimes it just is. You can't go to Brother Josh and say, Brother Josh, next Sunday morning, the Lord has laid upon my heart a song. I want to do the special next Sunday. Just because you want to sing next Sunday doesn't mean you get to sing. It's happened before in here. I've sat in a pew and go, oh my goodness, right? Listen, it doesn't work that. Maybe you say, you know, I want to teach. I want to teach. Not everybody that wants to teach gets to teach. What I'm trying to say is adults, we don't get to do something just because we want to. And we have to be okay with that because, again, the church, Jesus didn't die and bleed for this place so we get to do whatever we want to do.
When did we get the idea that it's all about us? When Jesus said, deny yourself. Oh, I know what I want. And I have to deny myself. Now, just in case you're sitting in your pew going, yeah, he's the pastor. He gets to do everything he wants. Let me tell you about this thing called deacons. No, I'm just kidding. My deacons are actually fantastic. But Brother Josh would even tell you, that doesn't work that way, and we don't pray that way, and I don't act that way, and I don't lead that way. I'm always very cautious about, is this the Lord's direction for His church? We prayed about it. Is this what the Lord wants? And we want to make sure we definitely separate those things. And I was even teasing, I was at a preacher's meeting last week. I said, here's what I want. I've been in the ministry for 21 years. I want like a 6-month amnesty window where I can do whatever I want and nobody can say no. I'm telling you, the church would explode. But we got to go through things, and again, that's just me and my immaturity popping off because the ministry is not about me either. We all have our place to serve, and we all have to deny ourselves. Now, again, make your home comfortable. Make your home as comfortable as you want. You want to, jump off the ropes to the top and knee your brother? That's fine. Go nuts, right? If you want, every home has different rules, right? At home, we have 3 young kids. My wife thought it was a good idea to buy a white couch. And it's still pretty white because the kids aren't allowed to eat on it. I'm allowed to eat on it, and I get in trouble sometimes. If you eat on your couch, fine. That's great. But let's make this place a place of worship. And worship means sacrifice. And we want to sacrifice for the one that saved us. So we're going to try the best we can. I can tell you what, the sound booth would probably fall down dead if we went somebody out there and say, you know what? Thank you for trying your best to accommodate everybody here. It can't be easy. Thank you. Thank you, for Brother Josh, for picking songs, because not every song is going to be your favorite song, but that's fine. We're not singing to you. We want to, but we try to do the best that we possibly can. Jesus says we got to come here and we got to deny ourselves, that we don't always get our way. But look at number 2. You're taking notes. The discipleship requires a cross. He says we deny ourselves. Okay, we talked about that. Well, then take up your cross daily. This takes the message so much deeper. The cross wasn't just uncomfortable. It was an instrument of death. Jesus isn't advertising Christianity as a path of maximum convenience. He's calling ourselves to die daily. You see that one surprising word Jesus threw in there? Daily. Daily. Man, I could almost get with this if he didn't put that word in there. Daily. That means discipleship means daily death. This isn't just missionaries going to Africa. This isn't just one heroic sacrifice. This isn't one revival decision. This is ordinary Tuesday Christianity. My schedule. That's a hard one for me. I don't know about you all. That's a hard one for me. I'm a planner. I'm an organizer. I have a calendar. I have plans. I want to do something in a certain order, a certain way, and then something comes across and messes up my schedule. That bothers me. And the Lord reminds me, He goes, no, don't worry about that. That was your calendar. That was your schedule. Die to it. My schedule, my money, my preferences, my body, my plans, die daily. See, the Christian life isn't hard because God is so cruel to us. The Christian life is hard because self refuses to die quietly. I've always wondered as a pastor, and I'll be a little transparent with you. You can get mad at me later, that's fine. But one of the things that's always kind of burdened me is a church for 50-some years, and I've been here for 25 of those, we've never sent out a pastor. We've never sent out a missionary before. I've always wanted that. I want to have a missionary that was like sent out from Oxbow Lake. We would support you. We'd be so excited. And we've just never done that. And you say, well, maybe the Lord's never called, and that's fine. Maybe it is. But maybe we taught that the cross is merely it's just an inconvenience. Maybe we were teaching comfort more than self-denial, because to go out to the missions field, I can't imagine more sacrificing than that. I'm giving up my future, I'm giving up my everything to go off to the mission field. If you want to talk about comfort, and my son Lincoln will tell you, if you've never been out of the country on a missions trip, there is this initial culture shock that you will hit when your plan lands, and you don't understand the language, the customs, you don't understand the exchange rate, you don't understand the way people are dressed, and they're all looking at you because you're the weirdo that doesn't look like anybody else, and there's this, I can't imagine living in that daily. I can't imagine it. But maybe we've just taught the cross as just an inconvenience rather than it is a death to self. to say, Lord, I need you to live. But thirdly, you're taking your notes down, kids. Discipleship requires following. Jesus says, let a man deny himself, take up his cross daily, then follow me. See, this is the goal. Please don't get this is not about being uncomfortable just to be uncomfortable. This is not what we're talking about. It's not rules for rules' sake. It's all about following Jesus, but it keeps us out of both ditches. We don't say, well, church should be miserable because suffering makes us spiritual. And neither do we say church should accommodate every preference because we want everybody happy. We say, whatever helps us follow Jesus today, that's what we'll do. I had the weirdest thing. I wasn't going to bring this up. It's not my notes. I had the weirdest thing happen this morning. I'm a man of routine. I love routine, and my routine was shattered today. Normally what I like to do, Brother Josh, since you've asked, I like to leave, and what we do is we drive down to the Speedway because I need me some iced tea in the morning. I'm not, coffee's coffee, but iced tea is better. And en suite, of course. And then I always did a breakfast sandwich, and I know this, I am not an expensive taste kind of guy. I think a breakfast sandwich from a gas station tastes better than McDonald's, okay? Just my opinions, okay? And so I go in there and I go to get my normal breakfast sandwich I get every single week, and it wasn't there. And I told the attendant, I said, hey, what's going on? We didn't order it, didn't get delivered, and I'm like, oh man, okay, fine. I'll just get a donut when I get to church. I have my donut. I get to church. Where's the donuts? Where are they? Help! Where's the donuts? And it's just my whole morning is just like, all right, Lord, it's going to be one of those days. And I got down my office, and again, so normally what I like to do is during your Sunday school hour, I'll turn on I can listen through online, I can listen what's going on here. I spend some time in prayer and just wrestle with the Lord and just spend some time with Him. And I've been doing this for so long, my prayers kind of had the same outline to them. Lord, I want you to fill this church up today. Lord, I want every seat full. And Lord, I want lost people. Can you send me lost people today? Lord, help me to share the gospel. Let me share the gospel so well. Let somebody walk down that. Lord, let somebody get saved. Lord, be with our Christians that are our church members, that they need help maybe. And Lord, you know what they are. If they need comfort, Lord, help me to speak the right thing. Lord, help me not to mess anything up. Lord, help them to pay attention. Lord, let there be no distractions here. And my prayer request and I started in that rigmarole, and I felt the Spirit of God say, stop. I stopped. And my prayer got real short and real simple. Lord, disregard everything I just said. Lord, I have one prayer. Let me please you today. I just want the message to please you today. Anything I do in the just let me please you today. If everybody's mad at me, that's fine. Lord, I just want to please you. Just let you be happy today, Lord. I want you just to have a smile. I want to see your face turn to us. I just want, I kind of figured out if the Lord's pretty happy, then pretty much anything I want to accomplish will be accomplished anyways, right? Or whatever the Lord wants to do, or anything worth it. But it just kind of was so liberating. Lord, you know what? Enough of my laundry list of what my wants are for your church. Lord, just you do what you want to do today. Sometimes it's joyful fellowship. Sometimes children sitting quietly. And some of the parents have all your little toys and trying to. I'm watching Lydia right now. She's trying to do stuff, and Jenny keeps feeding her stuff. Like, here, do this. Like, just stay busy until the pastor's done. Don't disrupt. That's fine. Listen, I don't mind hearing the kids every once in a while. I'm just glad they're in church. I really am. And I'm half deaf. I won't hear them anyways. But sometimes when we're done, it will be playing, and sometimes it's going to be serving, and sometimes it's going to be sacrifice, and sometimes it's going to be being uncomfortable. But comfort isn't the compass. Christ is. When we go forward. Because following means movement. Nobody follows by standing still. Following involves trust, obedience, relationship, dependence. And that changes every single decision we make in here. Instead of asking, well, what pleases me? Or what's the easiest path? A disciple is going to ask, where is Jesus leading us? And we do what we do not because we want to do it. We do what we do because Jesus is worthy. I hope our nursery workers down there, I hope I think God gives you a heart for wherever He puts you. I think He does. But, the nursery is not always going to be fun. And I'm speaking out of ignorance because I've never worked in the nursery. I imagine you get down there sometimes and every kid is a blowout at the exact same time. And then there's sometimes, we're talking about nursery, there's kids that just, mom and dad dropped them off and they don't want to be dropped off. And they're all screaming their heads off. I think some of you nursery workers have been bit before. it's not always going to be fun. You know, you may come here, you may have some problems with somebody else in the church. Maybe me, Brother Josh. Maybe something happened and you find us to be difficult. You're not going to forgive them because it's easy. You do what you do because Jesus is worthy. Jesus never said, come after me and I'll make you comfortable. He says, deny yourself. He says, take up your cross. He said, follow me. That's where he would have us. And if we would take that mentality when we come into God's house, we come to worship, that we come in here thinking, what can I give? What can I serve? Who can I bless rather than, Brother Josh better not sing that hymn again. I hate that song. I'd rather the choir sing this. Miss Hannah, she better play that piano just right. I can't stand it when it does this. And boy, I tell you what, it better be 75 degrees in here. It better be 60. I mean, some of you guys would like it like, you better sit on a block of ice in here, you know. Yes. You know, and listen, variety is the spice of life. We're all different, and we're going to do the best we can. But man, what a different mentality it is to say, Lord, this is for you. Lord, let me please you today. We're going to do the best that we possibly can.